Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and this is not a video I thought I was going to be making today. Earlier this afternoon, I mapped out all the content that I wanted to record when I had time to do so this evening, and this was not in the lineup. But within the last hour, Ripple put out a tweet I'm going to share with you, which linked directly to this brand new Ripple Insights piece. And I kid you not, they talk about the next crypto pump in this. Whoa. So I'm going to run through this whole thing with you. This is cool. There's a lot more to it than that. That's just one of the things I was like, okay, I didn't think that Ripple would ever want to reference something like that. But they shared a bunch of different opinions from a number of their different staff, including Ashish Burla, Brad Garlinghouse, and there were others too, so I'm really looking forward to running through this. I guess the other video I mapped out, I'm just gonna maybe have to get to that at a different time. This has to take precedence right here. So I really think you're gonna enjoy the content within here, especially amidst the price action we've seen over the last couple days. I think this will help you to get a grasp on like the bigger picture, and even if you feel like you have a good grasp on the big picture, if price has been getting you down, if it's been bumming you out, this might be a friendly reminder that the sun will rise tomorrow. And they talk about how cryptocurrencies are going to be the underpinnings of just the way money moves around the entire planet, the entire financial infrastructure. So we're going to get into it, but before I go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. I don't know how, it's pure magic to me. What sorcery is this? I don't know. But I would appreciate it if you'd consider doing that. And also, subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, damn it. All right, let's go ahead and get moving now. So, shout out to two individuals, because again, this Ripple tweet that I'm about to share with you, and then the piece, it's within the last hour or so, and two people very quickly tagged me, and so I just wanted to give shout outs. I really do appreciate everybody that tags me for any content, and I highlight as many as I can. For most stories, it's just whoever I see first, but there were two inside of like the last less than an hour here or something like that, and so I wanted to give a shout out to both. But there was I'm so sorry if I butcher this, Isidro Gonzalez said, "Moon Lambo, good material for your channel, my brother." Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that, and shout out to you. And it was in response to Ripple's tweet. Let me read this. New year, new trends. Ripple executives share their thoughts on how new technology and applications for digital assets will lead to tangible change across industries. I also want to give a shout out to Catalyst Coin, who tagged me along with fellow XRP YouTuber Working Money Channel. And he wrote, "Hey, Working Money Channel and Moon Lambo. Can you believe this is an actual Ripple post? It reads like a hopium hype piece, and they even predict a 2020 bull run. This is indeed the strangest timeline." Well, I can see why you wrote it like that, and again, shout out to you. Thank you very much for tagging me. I wouldn't say that it's hopium. I wouldn't go that far. My interpretation of it is different, and I'm going to run through this. Everybody will have their own opinion once we're at the end of the video here. To me, it was just bullish and positive, and it's not that they were so much specifically predicting a bull run. They're just kind of referencing when it happens. Like, to them, according to the piece, it's like an inevitability. And so that's why, I always say, despite the price action, it's not something to worry about. And also, just in this context too, there's XRP Venture tweeted this out. And I just thought, this is probably why Ripple wrote this. Not literally, but it's just the timing's funny. XRP Venture wrote this, tweeted this out yesterday. "At a time like this, when the price of XRP has clearly taken a beating, we might expect to hear some commentary from the company Ripple that controls and holds the most XRP, just to give us their take on the market." And then he tagged Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz. And XRP Archer responded, tagging me, and wrote, "Brad Garlinghouse basically said Ripple does not care about investors at this stage. Moon Lambo said it best, we hold like 10% of the volume. We have no say, just write it out. Our early birds will get a nice fat worm soon enough." Yeah, and what I was referencing there, I don't remember if I said 10%. If I did, I just literally don't recall. But I was getting at the concept of how us XRP holders who are buying based on fundamentals are a small percent of the total world of buyers and sellers in crypto and in XRP. There's only so many that are buying based on fundamentals. So until people really are parsing out the differences between cryptocurrencies on a more meaningful level, you're just going to continue to see that. So let's go take a look at the piece. And this is titled 2020, the Year of the Digital Asset. Excuse me. Standing on the doorstep of a new year and a new decade, it is hard to believe that the first real public engagement with digital assets began only a few short years ago in 2017. Over that year and into the next, speculators and media coverage drove wild fluctuations in interest and price, contributing to a series of both spectacular rises and precipitous falls in each. But that digital asset roller coaster ride smoothed out over the course of 2019 as speculation subsided and specialized use cases began to emerge. That utility helped demonstrate value in digital assets beyond trading and contributed to increased stability. While skeptics and critics might still view digital assets as a giant game of Jenga, just waiting for a wrong move to send all the blocks tumbling down, we here at Ripple see the future of digital assets as more like a vast set of Legos. By carefully piecing them together, it's possible to reimagine familiar worlds or create entirely new ones. Looking ahead, we believe 2020 will reveal new technologies and applications for digital assets that can lead to meaningful, tangible change across a wide range of industries. In particular, we expect three major things to develop in this first year of the new decade that will lead to a more mainstream embrace of digital assets. XRP is a digital asset custom designed to facilitate cross-border payments. A number of companies, including MoneyGram and Golance, and applications have endorsed this use case, and we anticipate even more will join the adoption curve over the coming year. But our team expects other digital assets and use cases to find traction in the coming year and decade. Ripple SVP of product Ashish Burla predicts that mobile wallets will enter the blockchain and crypto industries in a big way. Specifically, he believes that adoption of digital assets and blockchain technology among mobile wallets and super apps like Gojek, Grab, and PayPal will become more mainstream as they look to expand their services to keep up with customer demand and compete with digital banks. According to Ashish, that adoption will continue expanding to include new credit and loan products. He expects that these more mainstream use cases will first emerge in developing markets like Kenya, Nigeria, and parts of Latin America where the need is most acute. These applications will be aided by friendlier regulation towards digital assets, which will also make them more attractive to tech companies seeking paths to expansion. Which is why, by the way, it's kind of crucial that the United States maybe get its act together as it pertains to the regulation of cryptocurrencies and the digital asset class. I'll get things in time. Similarly, Ripple SVP of Customer Success, which I always thought was a silly title, but maybe that's just me. Marcus Treacher sees international and micro payments expanding to facilitate new consumer uses. In particular, he envisions purchase solutions for tourists and travelers that no longer rely on cards or card rails taking root in 2020. And here's a quote now from Marcus Treacher. Imagine if a Japanese tourist visiting Thailand could buy goods using a mobile app or QR code, triggering an immediate cross-border payment from their Japanese yen account to a Thai baht merchant's account. If more consumer purchase solutions start leveraging blockchain technology in the same way, the payoff will quite literally be huge. And of course, as you know, what's in the plumbing there? XRP, my friends. And I'm telling you, the only solution humans have devised is XRP. And this is exactly the vision here. It's so cool to hear an example like that, how this could actually play out. And you can think, it makes me think about Jevons paradox, which I've talked about on this channel before, which David Schwartz really brought to the forefront here. I can't remember when he first mentioned it within the last 2 years or so. But it's just the concept that thanks to this type of technology, it's going to spur further adoption, more usage of it, especially as costs come down. Anyway, Marcus also predicts that big tech companies will continue to enter the payment space, hastening the growth of micro and wallet payments supporting immediate low-value payment flows. This expansion of micropayments beyond traditional messaging apps like Telegram and Line to deep-pocketed enterprises should create a resulting surge of developers flocking to digital assets. So clearly they see a rosy future there. Then the piece continues. For digital assets and associated applications to have long-term staying power, institutional players must embrace the technology. We anticipate that just such a wave of institutional adoption will begin in 2020, with more traditional firms deploying digital asset and blockchain-based solutions. Now, this is where we're talking about big money. This piece of the puzzle that can result. This is me speaking now, Moon Lambo. Could result ultimately in what I believe should ultimately be a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. There's almost no money in this damn asset class. Under $200 billion right now as I record this. It's a pittance to what it will be in the future, I believe. And so some of that would flow to XRP, but clearly since cryptocurrencies have staying power, institutional money will come in, and even if just a fraction of institutional money, and in terms of the complete, if you look at a complete allocation of any institution, even just a fraction of a percent flowed in through each of these types of institutional purchasers, just I'm telling you, the amount of money would absolutely be outrageous, and it's coming. It's absolutely coming. Anyway, Brianne Madigan, our head of global institutional markets, says this will be enabled by trusted custody brands such as State Street or Bank of New York becoming involved in digital assets. The presence of recognized players will increase institutional confidence in the space and pave the way for the greater institutional adoption next year, explains Brianne. That's a direct quote from her. Whew, timing's going to be interesting. I have had reports over the year 2019 of increased institutional adoption, but not on the scale that it seems that they will be come to be in the year 2020. CEO Brad Garlinghouse is even bolder, predicting that half of the top 20 biggest banks in the world will actively hold and trade digital assets in 2020. He is also one of many of the team that believes fiat currencies will go digital in the next year. Now, when I first read that, I was kind of like, because I was thinking back to something that he said, I believe, at the Economic Club of New York, which was that he didn't really see what problem was being solved by these fiat currencies going digital in this way with the utilization of blockchain specifically, and he made a point which I've made in the past, and I was completely on board, and now I'm kind of befuddled here. I don't know how to describe it. But it was the point he made is that really ledgers are already digital, and what problem if you turn that into some sort of blockchain situation? What problem is that solving that wasn't already being accurately taken care of just with a database? Something along those lines. And so I'd be curious to pick his brain a little further. Maybe his thoughts on this have evolved, and I'm always willing to change my mind too as evidence presents itself. You'd have to be a weird stick in the mud to not want to acknowledge truth or reason when it approaches you in life. But I still don't particularly see it at this point in time. Anyway, while SVP of Spring Ethan Beard expects at least one central bank to launch a tokenized representation of their fiat currency in 2020. Brad forecasts at least one non-G20 currency, like the Argentine peso or similar, will become fully digitized within the next year. Interesting, right? And then they got a subhead in here. The crypto industry evolves to keep pace. This expanded adoption of digital currencies by mainstream and national institutions will also have an impact on the industry supporting the technology. Specifically, Ashish and Brianne both expect it to produce a wave of consolidation amongst crypto exchanges. For his part, Ashish says the growing cost of keeping up with security, compliance, and technology will be more than the smaller exchanges can handle. Consolidation will enable companies to grow from regional to global players and better compete with bigger brands like Binance that have already begun acquiring several other exchanges. Brianne sees consolidation being driven more by the interest in digital assets and blockchain from institutional brands. She predicts an increased focus on true volumes, subdued retail interest in exchanges, and the appearance of more institutional-grade exchanges will combine to spark a wave of consolidation as companies compete to add volume and customers. So check this out, though. I think this next part, this is Brad. Yeah, beyond exchanges, Brad expects to see consolidation amongst crypto companies themselves. He boiled, and I love this too. Check this out. And he said this before, and you may have heard this, but I absolutely love this because it rings true to my entire investment thesis about utility being what matters. He boiled it down to a simple numbers game. And this is Brad Garlinghouse. The world doesn't need 2,000 plus digital assets. While I don't think there will be one coin to rule them all, it's clear that if an asset doesn't have a proven use case beyond speculation, it is not going to survive. This year saw the start of a shuttering of a number of crypto companies that Brad expects to continue into 2020. And I say, good. Now check out this. This is probably the part that you might be most curious. If I had to guess, a lot of you at least are probably most curious about this. This is the subheading, a crypto pump, with a question mark at the end. So, crypto pump, written by Ripple. You gotta love this. These three evolving trends will together likely fuel what Brienne calls the next major pump for the digital asset market. She projects that growing institutional comfort level with digital asset use cases, along with increased regulatory clarity in the US and the next Bitcoin halving by May of 2020, will all lead to the next large adoption cycle. And so to be clear, that will lead to it, not explicitly from that statement, will it occur in 2020, but would help lead to it. Anyway, that boost could also be aided by what Ethan terms a flight to crypto as the safer asset class in the face of a potential global economic slowdown. And lest anyone think we forgot about Libra, 'tis not true. Multiple team members chimed in to predict that Libra will neither launch nor be canceled in 2020. They expect that increased regulatory scrutiny, privacy concerns, and the defection of key association members will combine to at least temporarily stall Facebook's plans for the digital asset. Yeah, that seems reasonable to me. Ultimately, the coming year and decade will see digital assets and blockchain continue to emerge as core underpinnings of the world's financial future. Today's first movers will have an enormous role to play in delivering that change for tomorrow. We are excited to watch it unfold. Wow, what an awesome piece. That was cool stuff there. I would love to hear everybody's comments on this. I really would, especially this part where they actually use the term crypto pump in an official Ripple Insights piece. And I'm not being negatively critical about it. It's just fascinating to me. That's all. But I think they're really spot on here, and it's just like that's why it helps to keep your eye on the prize. And I'm not offering financial advice here, but I just think that in terms of XRP price, it will be worth substantially more than it is today because the price today has almost zero to do with utility and all speculation, which means that none of what's happened since the inception in terms of price of XRP, none of it has actually mattered. Not really. Not really. Not in the way that I'm thinking it will ultimately matter in the future anyway. This is nothing. Wait till the rest comes in. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!